Well, if you want to get into a big discussion of rules and laws, let's talk about the filibuster. Now, the filibuster was originally created by Congress to say if someone doesn't like something, they can stand on the floor of the House or the Senate, talk as long as they want, forever if they want to, and try to block a vote. Nothing will happen with a filibuster. Well, the last time there was an actual people on the floor talking for days, and I'm thinking it went over 70 days, if my memory serves me correct. It could be wrong. But the last time the actual filibuster was utilized was back in 1964. And that's when the Democrats, and you heard me right, the Democrats led a filibuster involving the 1964 Civil Rights Act. You see, the Republicans were in favor of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, and the Democrats vehemently opposed it. And so they decided to filibuster, and the filibuster went on for weeks. Well, ultimately, when that finally ended, because it was the Republicans managed to get the vote done, Republicans voted for the 1964 Civil Rights Act, and the Democrats, none of them voted for it. So it was all a Republican vote, zero Democrats. Well, later on, they said, look, we got to find a better way of doing this. So what they did was they adopted a rule. Now, keep in mind, a rule is not a mandate. It's not a forever. It's not in the Constitution. The rule was simple. You have to have 60 votes in the Senate for something to pass. That way they said, okay, unless you got 60 votes in your party, and we haven't had that in a long time when you think about it. It's pretty close. You got mostly House, mostly Democrats, mostly Republicans. It's pretty much even Steven most of the time. But you have to have 60 votes, which means if you want to vote on something, people from both parties have to vote to approve it. If not, the automatic rule comes in that says you have to have 60 votes. All right, that's where we stand. Now, Donald Trump says, I want to get rid of that 60-vote mandate, that 60-vote rule, so we have the majority in the Senate so we can rule on whatever we want. Now, keep in mind, the 60-vote requirement does not affect financial things. Financial issues like budgets and those kind of things, that's majority rule at 51, okay? So the Senate has a certain amount of leeway, but anything aside from financial, it's got to have 60 votes. So President Trump says, no, I want to get rid of that so we can do things. Well, many in the Senate do not want to get rid of it. I'll tell you why. Because if you get rid of it, the next time the Democrats are in power, they know, hey, they're going to pass bills and things that you don't want to see. James Carville, okay, you've already seen him. You know who he is. He's already gone on and says, well, they get rid of the filibuster and we take over the Congress. We're going to make Puerto Rico a state. We're going to make Washington, D.C. a state. And we're going to pack the Supreme Court with anywhere between 13 and 21 judges. This is what they want to do if there is no filibuster rule. They say if we're in charge, we've got majority, we're going to have majority rule in the Senate. And if we are the majority, we are going to do whatever we want. Like I said, packing the Supreme Court, making Puerto Rico, making Washington, D.C., both states, if the filibuster rule goes away. Now, that's why many in Congress don't want it to go away. Yes, it makes for a problem trying to get anything done. But if you take it away, the Democrats have already said what they're going to do. They're going to load up and they're going to take control so that no other party, no Democrats, or no other Republican, rather, will ever be able to have power in office. And if a Republican gets to be a president again, well, they're just not going to do what he wants to do because they're going to say, we have control. And if he doesn't like what's going on, the president tries to push it, you know what they'll do? They'll impeach him. If they get the House and the Senate, they will impeach any Republican president who they don't like at a moment's notice. This is why the filibuster rule is so important, folks. I know many of you say, well, we got to get rid of that. We got to get things done. Trump wants to get it done. I agree, he does. But getting rid of the filibuster, that's going to cause some problems that you can't even imagine. Because if you do it for the Republicans, the Democrats are going to say, yeah, we're going to do it. We are going to do it even bigger, badder, and worser than you did. And how would you like to have Washington, D.C. as a state? It's a federal land. But they want to make it a state because that way they get 2 more senators. more House of Representative members. Puerto Rico state, more Democrats in there, more Democrat senators, more Democrat House members. This is about power. This is about control. And they want so much control that there's no way that any other party can get anything done. That means the United States would turn into, well, California, because California has very, very few Republicans, and the Democrats control everything in California, including the price of gasoline, by the way, which now is over $5 a gallon. But keep this in mind, folks. Should we get rid of the filibuster or keep it in place? Right now, we're keeping it in place because what could happen if we get rid of it? Sure, the Republicans make some gains, but the Democrats are going to come in and destroy what they think are Republican strongholds, namely the Supreme Court, and going to make sure Congress has so many Democrats in it, there's no way Republicans could vote or get anything. The Democrats would have ultimate control of the United States. This is what they want, and that's what the filibuster could give them. Just something you need to know before you make a decision. Be careful with something you want. You just might get it.